It's Trevor Shoulders with Dream Space Brokers. Thank you for tuning in. One of the first steps of purchasing a home is approaching me and asking me, hey, what do I do next? Well, what I will always tell you is to do two things. You want to fill out your loan application at this website right here for Nick White, milehighmortgageteam.com. It's an online secure loan app. Basically makes it very easy to get the information that Nick needs to draw to find out your pre-qualifications. And then number two would be to follow up a phone call with Nick here, 303-302-3115, which is right here as well. This is Nick White with the Mile High Mortgage Team. I've been using Nick countless times in the last several years. I don't even know how many transactions we've done. We've always been able to secure with 100% success. Nick actually makes it incredibly easy and reliable. So those are all of the nuances of a lender that you're looking for. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Nick. He's got some valuable information to share about the process.
Hi everybody, I'm Nick White, Mile High Mortgage Team. So yeah, I mean, he touched on a lot of stuff. We have kind of seen every scenario over the years, and there have been plenty that Trevor didn't even think were going to be possible that we somehow made it to the closing table with. So really my job is to kind of just be the problem solver and make it so that you're able to close on that house that you fell in love with when you're out looking at homes that day. For some people that's really easy. For some people it takes a little creativity. But I've been doing this for 16 years, and you know, just in the 5 or 6 years we've known each other, we've seen kind of all of those scenarios. So, but we learn new things every day, and there's a lot to know about the process. But that's my job, to know those things and to keep it as simple as possible for you, the client. Provide as much information necessary to help you make an informed decision, whatever that is, whether it's to go with a conventional loan or an FHA loan, if you've got some VA eligibility, if you're looking to purchase a really expensive house and maybe have questions about jumbo financing. There's really a ton of stuff to know out there, and you shouldn't have to know any of that stuff. You should just have a good resource, maybe like myself, to provide that info whenever it's needed. The pre-approval process itself mainly takes about 5 minutes at the most from you up front, which either involves entering your info on my secure website that Trevor mentioned earlier, or 5 minutes on the phone with me, kind of just providing that info while I ask a bunch of questions. But generally that's how we get things started. We get enough information in the system to get a general feel for your overall financial picture. And that usually helps me determine whether you're an FHA borrower, or whether you might be somebody that can benefit from one of these new conventional programs designed for first-time buyers. Or maybe you've been saving up for 10 years and you have $300,000 to put down on your very first house. Every situation's different, but having that snapshot in the system initially is kind of what gives us a feel for what things are going to look like ultimately. And then generally I'm a little bit more informed by that process, so that we're able to jump on the phone and have a little bit more of a productive, efficient conversation, because I know people are busy and don't have all day to be on the phone talking about their finances.
So it's really important to understand that even if you're in the beginning stages of wanting to purchase a house, figuring out the lending portion of the transaction is crucial. Some people will say, hey, I would love to buy a house in 6 months to a year. I'm not quite ready to talk to a lender yet. Well, I actually would advise opposite of that, and actually be preemptive on the search of the information. Make sure you contact your lender to get those questions answered, just in case there's something that is a blemish on your credit report, or something that could maybe hinder your process. Somebody like Nick here can actually be proactive in making those little glitches go away by the time you are ready. So wouldn't you agree with that type of a preemptive process versus a reactionary process?
Absolutely. A lot of people think that they're not ready because of maybe something they've grown up thinking, like, we grew up thinking you had to have 20% down to buy a house, something like that. Well, I'm not quite ready right now because I don't have 20%. Well, if your lease is up soon and you're thinking about buying and moving into another apartment, you're going to have to put a deposit down. There are programs out there right now that actually allow you to come out of your pocket with less money to buy a house than actually to go basically pay someone else's mortgage and rent a place.
Some of these mortgages that you're closing, monthly payments are actually cheaper
Yeah.
than rent.
Well, especially
in the Denver metro
Yeah.
area. That's kind of a very shocking statistic that people, once they go through the process and they talk to somebody like Nick here, they can give them actual numbers on monthly payment, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, totaling less than what a monthly rent payment would be, which is kind of incredible to be able to own something for less than you are renting.
Especially when you think about, 12 months into the future after closing on that house, you might have 20% equity in that house that you put $2,000 down on. It's insane in this town right now. So there's a ton of opportunity to build wealth through real estate, and you really don't have to have much to start with, contrary to what a lot of people still actually believe out there. And to your point about, having that conversation initially, no matter what, whether you've already got the house picked out that you want to make an offer on, or whether you're thinking that, after this 12-month lease is up, I'm finally going to be ready to buy a house. Like, right now is the time to have that conversation, because like Trevor said, there could be a blemish on your credit report that we might be able to identify and clear it off of there so that you're able to get a much better interest rate, or maybe able to qualify for a better loan program when that time comes. It could just be something like saving for down payment. Maybe you're thinking, oh man, I don't have any money, but I have this 401k, can't touch that till I'm 62. There are all kinds of misconceptions out there. So just jumping on the phone, having that 5 to 10 minute phone call to ask whatever question you've got, no matter how stupid you think the question is, it's a great idea, because there's no worse idea than just not asking those questions.
I can't tell you how many times somebody's approached me and said, hey, I want to buy a house, I don't think I'm ready yet. They have one 5-minute conversation with this guy, and we're out looking for houses and closing 30 days later. It's pretty interesting. Thank you so much for tuning in here, sitting here with Nick White. We really appreciate working with him. It's always a great process. He's a great guy to talk to, even for any type of financial advice that you might want to know about your credit scores or your financial ability to qualify for a home loan for now or in the future. Just keep him in mind. Once again, his phone number, 303-302-3115. Call him anytime, or milehighmortgageteam.com for that loan app. Thank you again for tuning in, and we will see you soon.